Hey everybody, it's Dr. Sam Robbins. Today I'm going to talk about a very important topic, and that's salt. Why this essential mineral is so crucial to your existence, your energy levels, your mood, your muscles, hormones, and brain health. And this brings up today's main topic, comparing the pros and cons of sea salt versus table salt versus Himalayan pink salt. Most importantly, just warnings about which of these salts that you should avoid and which ones you should eat. Also, basically what's good or bad for your health. Again, keeping in mind that sodium is especially important for people who exercise regularly, who sweat a lot, who get maybe muscle cramps, have higher anxiety levels, you're feeling tired, you don't sleep well, you have joint pain, and are also concerned about wrinkles. Yes, sodium is super important. However, before I start, know that salt is not directly linked to high blood pressure. I know a lot of you hear that, but it's not correct. Dehydration, the lack of water, plus high sodium combined with just low water intake and higher carbohydrate intake is the real problem to high blood pressure. Again, dehydration plus salt, lack of the water, and high carbohydrate is the real problem, which is unfortunately most people's diets and lifestyles, which is exactly what you get when you eat man-made prepackaged foods found at fast food restaurants and your grocery store. However, some of the healthiest people on the planet live by the ocean. They eat lots of seafood, which all contains sodium, and they're all very healthy. You see, having high blood pressure is linked to aging, and that's because the decline in your youth hormones, and plus a weaker kidney function, again, due to aging and also insulin resistance. So blood pressure is a whole other topic. If you want natural ways to promote healthy blood pressure levels, I suggest you take Blood Pressure Optimizer, which is what my parents have been using for 20 years. I put the direct link to Blood Pressure Optimizer below for more details, the ingredients, how it works, clinical studies, and so forth, and customer reviews. But let's get started with some interesting facts about salt. You see, your body is made up of mostly water, up to 70% or so, especially when you're younger and have good hormones, right? Your skin is nice and supple and full. Unfortunately, as we age, the water content in our skin drops and the muscles drop, and this can lead to dehydration, lower energy levels, wrinkles, smaller muscles, anxiety, and other health issues. By the way, the water in your body is salt water. Thus, drinking regular water all day long isn't going to hydrate you the way salt water does. In fact, when you go to the hospital and there's a problem, right, and they give you an IV drip of saline, that's salt water. What's also interesting is that over 95% of the Earth's surface is covered in salt water, all right? And I mention all this because water and salt is very important. It's just natural. The more water you drink, the more salt you need to help absorb it. I'm sure you've run into this problem when you say, hey, I'm going to start drinking a lot more water, and you do so, and then it seems like every few minutes you're running to the bathroom and peeing a lot. And this is because that water is not being absorbed well. Hormones is one reason, as I mentioned earlier, such as insulin, testosterone, estrogens, and growth hormone, and so forth. But also the lack of electrolytes is another, salt being the primary one. So let's start with the comparisons. So the first is regular table salt. This is what's normally found in restaurants or most people's tables and so forth in the kitchen. The source is usually mined from salt deposits in the earth, which is heavily processed to eliminate the minerals. That's not what we want. Now, the composition is primarily consists of sodium chloride. This is another more specifically word for salt, and sodium chloride. Often also contains table salt additives that prevent clumping, such as calcium silicate, and is sometimes iodized. Now, iodine is added to help provide iodine deficiency. Iodine does have some benefits, especially for your thyroid. There's also, as far as health aspects, it's the added iodine content that's beneficial, again, for thyroid. However, the lack of additional minerals makes this table salt less nutritionally diverse. The other problem is table salt is bleached, which is not good, and it sometimes has anti-caking agents such as aluminum, which can be toxic to your brain. It's linked to Alzheimer's and dementia and so forth. So all in all, I would probably avoid regular table salt. Now we have sea salt next. People started using sea salt as a more quote unquote healthy and alternative form of salt compared to regular table salt. The source for sea salt is produced through the evaporation of seawater, usually with little processing. So that's good. The composition, again, contains mostly sodium chloride and trace minerals such as potassium, iron, and zinc, which may add a little bit of color and flavor. Now, the exact mineral content can vary based on the original water source. Now, as far as health aspects, the trace minerals in sea salt offers some nutritional benefits. However, again, sea salt is not safe because one of the major problems with sea salt is that it contains microplastics. Now, the presence of microplastics in sea salt is a result of the increasing in pollution of our world's oceans. So that's the sucky part. Of course, these microplastics are bad for your health. They can cause inflammation, and they can act as endocrine disruptor in higher dosages. That basically means the higher microplastics in your body, the worse your hormones become due to the endocrinology, due to your endocrine system being disrupted. Now, unfortunately, there's several studies that have detected up to 90% of microplastics in various brands of sea salt from different parts of the world. So that's a major problem. So like table salt, I would probably avoid sea salt as well, unless it's Celtic or Celtic, depending on how you say it, Celtic sea salt from France. Now, that form of sea salt, Celtic sea salt, has been not shown to contain any microplastics, so that's good. However, if you've ever used Celtic sea salt, it's kind of a wet salt. It's not really dry like table or sea salt. It's a little damp, which clumps a little bit. So it's fine for cooking, but it's hard to quote unquote sprinkle on your food. However, if you want sea salt, Celtic sea salt is the best. And finally, we have Himalayan pink salt. Now, the source, it's mined from the salt mines of Pakistan. Himalayan, supposedly, they're believed to be millions of years old. The composition is mainly against sodium chloride, but it's known for its rich mineral content, including calcium, magnesium, potassium, copper, iron, which gives it that distinct pink color. Now, as far as health aspects, its mineral content can offer additional nutritional benefits. All right. So that's the cool part. So honestly, if I had to pick one salt to consume, it would probably be the Himalayan pink salt, or again, a little bit of Celtic sea salt. As far as how much salt you need, I think between 1 to 2 teaspoons a day, maybe that's up to 3,000 milligrams or more, depending on how much water you consume. The more you exercise and the more you sweat, the more salt you can and should consume. Sometimes one of the best times to take salt is early in the morning, first thing in the morning with a little bit of water and lemon juice that helps your adrenals. And these also, people on very low carbohydrate diets or keto or carnivore diets should consume additional salt as well. Now, again, keep an eye on all the packaged foods and the condiments you eat, which have lots of hidden salt, typically sodium, table salt, which again is the main problem. And again, additionally, if you're concerned about having healthy blood pressure levels, make sure you take a look at Blood Pressure Optimizer. I put the link below. But ultimately, I tend to put a little bit of salt on some of my foods. It helps you consume the food better. It's better for your body. Try to consume. Also, if you tend to pee a lot at night, having some sodium at your last meal will help absorb that water intake that you consume, so you won't be peeing as much at night. So a lot of benefits to salt. Again, if you're concerned about blood pressure, take a look at the links underneath this video about that. And again, a little bit of salt is good for you, has lots of benefits. It's natural. Your body's made up of salt water. The planet is made up of salt water. And when you get sick, IV drip is again salt water. Most of us are dehydrated, and that's because we're not consuming enough salt and water. So keep that in mind, salt and water. So hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have any questions below in the comments, any concerns you have, anything you want me to give you more details about or clarification. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I wish you a very happy and healthy day.